what are the key ingredients to making a great ship, right? Think of all the ships that you love. Think of all the ships that you know about, right? That maybe you don't necessarily like, but it is a ship in some sort of fandom that you are a part of, right? Just think of any sort of ship and think about what are the key ingredients or the key ingredient for any sort of ship to be not only healthy, to be really good, and have the strongest possibility of being canon at the end of a series. Think about it very carefully, right? Because in this video, I want to talk to you about what I think is the very most important ingredient for any good ship, right? Now, not all ships are guaranteed to have this key ingredient because, as we know, there are things called crack ships where it's not essentially that you believe will be canon. You just like, these two characters together because it's, aesthetically you like it. Some people like, two characters together simply just because they have the same hair color, right? But at the end of the day, crack ships are going to be crack ships. Not many people actually take them seriously, right? But aside from crack ships and just ships that people may not know, that or guarantee that it will become canon, right? But they do have a good, like chemistry or like relationship between the two characters, but they're not going to become canon. Aside from those two types of ships, I believe that every single ship always has this one key ingredient. And you're probably wondering what this key ingredient is. It's actually really simple and really doesn't take too much to really figure out what it is. What every ship, a really good and healthy ship, needs is one thing, one key ingredient, one core, and that is friendship. Yes, it sounds ridiculous, that really friendship, that's really the thing, but it's actually not. Because all relationships start off with two people, regardless of their fictional or in real life, that grow in connection, through a simple bond of friendship. You don't have to be best of friends, but grow together and become friends first. That's usually, and what I think is the most important quality of any sort of, ship, because when you really boil down to what makes a healthy ship, it's between two characters that, have a strong bond, trust in each other, have good chemistry. Sometimes, they could be polar opposites of each other, but they all fit together like a puzzle piece because, they simply just cover each other's weaknesses. That's what makes a good, ship full of trust, bond, and chemistry. And it all boils down to just being a really solid, friendship. That core of just being friends is what's important, I believe, in any good ship, right? And a lot of people don't think that's the case, right? That one of the qualities that you need in a ship is just to have one character, have a crush or, have feelings for another character. And that's what sets off a good, ship. That's not the case. Because you could have a character have a crush on the other, but at the same time, it's like, if it doesn't lead anywhere, then what's the point, right? You cannot just have a character have a simple crush or feelings and, have this wild imagination of a character without getting to know that other character and why, that crush can develop into like stronger feelings of love. Because you need that core, bond of friendship, right? You need to know the other character involved in your ship because the more you know the other character, the better your relationship of those two characters being together gets stronger, right? Think of like, your parents, your partner. Think of essentially, other people's partners as well, and what do they usually tell you? Especially like if you are at a wedding or something like that, right? What do they usually tell you? That they are married or, together with their best friend, right? Why is that? Why do you feel or think that so many, people who are in a loving relationship, a really healthy relationship, think that they are, best of friends? Like they call each other best friends. Because that is where the core of any ship is. Once you have that core, you can then build upon that relationship between these two characters, add romantic moments, add moments of vulnerability, add scenes where like they're just chatting and talking to one another and connecting with one another. Show scenes of them trusting one another to accomplish a goal. Show them growing together, just hanging out, liking each other's activities or something like that. Once you start really having that one core, you can add all these things, and then that's how you grow that bond, grow that relationship, and make that chemistry work, right? I get the idea that if two characters are friends and there's no romantic tension between them, that that you could hardly think that they will ever be linked romantically, right? But it's possible that the author just hasn't chosen that opportunity to show those feelings become more than just friendship. And that's the key, because a lot of authors who just think, or build upon their friendship first, are doing that so that, they can essentially have these characters have a really strong bond, and then add these romantic moments to it eventually, where these two characters can have romantic feelings for one another, or feel much stronger than just these feelings of friendship for. And that's why a lot of authors always start off these characters as being really good friends, right? Even if you have a situation, right, where two characters, they're not like the best of friends, or like they don't grow essentially together for like a long periods of time, as long as you have that thing where they can connect properly, sure, you could have them be romantically linked. But in order to grow that relationship to make it healthy and not make it like a situation where like they break up a couple years later, you have to still build that friendship. Yes, you could have romantic feelings for these two characters, but you have to pile on this feeling of them being connected to each other and just being each other's best friends, right? At the end of the day, the core is what's important for any healthy relationship. If you're not friends or consider each other friends at any point, during any sort of relationship, you may not be in like a very healthy relationship. Now, that's not always the case. There are exceptions to this, this rule, as there are for any rule, right? I'm not saying that you can't have a loving relationship without that, core friendship. But for the most part, a lot of these relationships tend to have that core as the big thing that really makes a really healthy relationship. And that's why whenever you get like love advice or anything like that, you always hear people say, oh, start off as friends first, right? Then slowly build that friendship, and then eventually, you could fall in love. You could have, start dating, and so on and so forth. And I understand there's this fear in society nowadays that you cannot just be friends anymore with anybody. If you want to be romantically or want to have, relationship with somebody, you cannot be friends, because then if you enter the friend zone, you're basically stuck there forever, right? But that's the thing. You don't have to be afraid of that. I get it. If they're not interested in you, then they're just not interested in you, right? I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but that's just usually how it works. That's just how human behavior usually works, right? Which is why whenever you see a ship of a character who has a crush on somebody, but they don't return the feelings, it's because they probably didn't grow that bond of friendship really well. Maybe that character that rejected the other character maybe has a stronger relationship, a core friendship, a core, bond with another character, right? Because they built upon that friendship, right? And I get it. No one wants to be in the friend zone. Friend zones suck. They really do. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that you still need to get to know the other person really well, right? You need to be friends with that person first and foremost, and then that's how you grow that connection. That's how authors usually write relationships, where they essentially create that bond of friendship and expand it more and more, and then add elements of romance to it. That's what I believe is needed in any amazing, healthy relationship in any sort of fiction, regardless. Because once you have that core, once you have that bond, then the sky's the limit at that point, right? The sky's the limit. And people will believe that the relationship is a really good one, is a really good ship, because the bond that the author developed through their simple friendship showcases that, okay, I understand now. I get it. I get why the author put them together, because of that single bond of friendship that they have, that is the core of any ship. So let me know what you think is like the key ingredients to any ship that you may prefer. Like I said, there's rules to this exception. This is just my own opinion. Anything happy, you can ship whoever you wish and have fun with it, as long as you're not bothering anybody, right? And maybe for you, a good healthy relationship, or a ship between characters may not even be about friendship. Maybe you have something else. Let me know in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time. All right, bye bye.